Welcome to the Cocktail Spirit from Small Screen Network. I'm your host, Robert Hess. Now, today we're going to do a cocktail from the Savoy cocktail book. It's a drink I ran across called the Biter, or is it called the Bitter? Some people think that when he wrote the book in 1930, Harry Craddock accidentally did a typo and meant to call it the Bitter cocktail, but he only had one T in it, which I guess makes it pronounced the Biter. Now I've got a second edition here, which you would have had a chance to actually update, make modifications to, and it's still written with only one T, so I'm saying it's really called the Biter. Let's take a look. We're going to start off with 1.5 ounces of gin. And then 3/4 ounce of lemon juice. Now, if you've been watching my show for any time, you've seen me use a plethora of different juicers. Quite often I might use an antique juicer like this Elbaloy juicer that a lot of people just absolutely love, and so do I, but it's an antique, so it's hard to find. I've used other juicers from time to time. I even went to the problem of trying to find a modern juicer that was still being made. I got it, it was a great juicer, I started using it in the show, and then they stopped making it. So it's also very hard to find. Recently, a brand new juicer just came out, which has a similar action, I felt, to the Elbaloy. Notice both are kind of squeezing from the side like this. And so I'm going to kind of see how this one works. Hopefully, if this works well, it won't go out of business like the other juicers have. So we're going to start off cutting our lemon. Now a little clue that Martin Doordoff taught me was to take, once you have a fruit like this and juicers like this, maybe cut across the side just to pre-cut the edge, so the juicer itself is not having to break the edge, which could add too much pressure and maybe break the juicer. We juice down. It's got a nice feel to it. It's made out of plastic with some metal, so it's a little bit of give. I'm not sure if that give is good or bad. We'll see whether it lasts for very long or not. And then all the juice goes down to the bottom. Now we're needing, like I said, 3/4 ounce. I can just measure straight in from here. Pour a little bit on the side, so the pouring doesn't work quite as well as I'd like it, but at least it holds it in there. Now we're going to add to this 3/4 ounce of Chartreuse. Now you might have a bottle of Chartreuse in your liquor cabinet, and you might not use it very often. Chartreuse, I think, is a great product. It has a lot of flavors. It's one of those multiple herbs and spices sorts of things, proprietary ingredient made by Chartreusian monks. It comes in both a green and a yellow. Essentially, the difference between green and yellow is very, very little. The exact same spices go into both of them. The yellow Chartreuse is a little bit softer, a little teeny bit sweeter than the green Chartreuse. One key difference is the green Chartreuse is green and the yellow Chartreuse is yellow. We believe the yellow Chartreuse is colored with saffron. This would be coloring that's being added post-distillation. The green Chartreuse is colored with something else, again added post-distillation, because the distillation process is going to make everything clear. So to have any color whatsoever, it's either through aging in a barrel, which turns it brown, or if it's a color like this, it's going to be colored after the fact. You're adding some herbs or spices to it that are adding the color after there. So again, we're going to add 3/4 ounce of Chartreuse. Then we're going to add 1/4 ounce of simple syrup. And a dash of absinthe. Now absinthe can be pretty powerful flavor-wise, so you really want to be careful here. And so there's a dash of absinthe. This should add just a little teeny bit of an anise flavor in the background that pulls things forward. Now, if you're paying attention to the ingredients I've used here, we've got gin, Chartreuse, and a bitter citrus going on. It's very similar to another very popular drink of modern day. It's an old drink that's been coming back again called The Last Word. The Last Word is equal parts of gin, green chartreuse, and lime juice. So this drink has kind of the same complexities going on, and so the flavor profile, as you might expect, is going to be similar, but still slightly different because the ratios are different. Using lemon instead of lime, we're adding simple syrup, and it's a little teeny dash of absinthe in the background. Now with the lemon juice, I could shake this up. I like stirring. I think it's a lot funner. Let's strain it into our glass. Now the recipe as the Savoy had it didn't have any garnish whatsoever associated with this drink. It's called the biter cocktail, and so I'm thinking maybe it needs a garnish that kind of has that notion going on there. So there we have our little biter garnish on the side. It definitely has a lot of similarity to the last word. The absinthe, unless you told me it was there, I probably wouldn't notice it. But it's adding kind of an interesting little spice and flavor in the background that's kind of really working well with the chartreuse. The chartreuse is not overpowering at all. If chartreuse is something that you're kind of afraid of because it is such a heavy flavored liqueur, and maybe the last word is kind of being a little bit too chartreusing for you, I think the biter is a fabulous drink that can really take and do a good introduction to what chartreuse can provide to you. And there we have the biter cocktail.